So we've covered Christmas trees and whether those are sacrilegious or a valid and wholesome Christian tradition. And now let's cover Santa Claus. So, and I might change my mind on this later. I'm not judging anybody for how they run their household. However, for us, I always knew even before we had kids that we weren't going to pretend that Santa Claus is real, mostly just because it's lying. But you'll see so many parallels between the Santa Claus icon, not the real St. Nicholas, but the Santa Claus, the cultural Santa Claus that we've created, that identity has so many parallels with Jesus, except that at the end of the day, the kids find out that Santa Claus isn't actually real. Now, for us, our kids are that young, perfect, sweet little age, well, where they would believe in Santa Claus if we told them that. But, and a lot of people say, oh, don't take away their joy, have some fun. But it's so much more important to do what's right to me, and lying to my kids is not something I'm willing to do. So I wasn't sure how it was gonna play out, but it's worked out really, really well, because even though we're clear with our kids that Santa Claus isn't real, they still enjoy it. Like, my 3-year-old understands that Santa Claus isn't real, but he still wants to make cookies and leave them out, and we can watch movies and see advertisements with Santa Claus in it without it being confusing to them or painful to them. Like, we also took pictures with Santa Claus, with them fully understanding and knowing that Santa Claus isn't real.
Every day I get jelly beans get dropped off.
I'm wrong, and every day jelly beans get dropped off?
Every night.
Talk to me, Daniel. What? Are you talking? Do you think Santa Claus drops off jelly beans every night? Oh. What's the matter, Gabe? Did you get hurt?
I slipped on my butt.
You slipped on your butt.
I slipped on my feet in the bathroom. My butt got hurt.
Oh no. Sorry that happened. Oh, well, we don't want to use that unless somebody's actually going to enjoy it in the bathtub. And Daniel, if you got water on the bathroom floor, you need to clean it up right now, because that's dangerous. Brother slipped on something, so go use the towels and clean up the bath water. So, anyway, Daniel, tell me, is Santa Claus real or not? Yeah? Come here, I can't hear you.
I find jelly beans. I find jelly beans.
So he says he thinks Santa Claus might be real because he finds jelly beans. So it's kind of cool. The point is, like, I don't have to be in a position where I have to lie. If they want to believe in Santa Claus or not, because of media or what's going on around them, because of other kids or whatever, fine. But I don't have to, like, compromise. I don't ever have to, at the end of the day, say, oh yeah, I lied about that, because Santa Claus is not Jesus, but he's the guy who brings all the gifts, and he does these impossible things like flying all around the planet, being everywhere at one time. Like, God is supposed to be, and having all the elves help him, an analogy to angels, and helping God, and Santa Claus having a naughty and a nice list and then judging you, is more of something that God has, the book of life. Are you in it or not? Are you going to heaven or not? Are you going to get coal or presents? I could go on and on with these analogies, and then during Christmas time, Santa Claus gets worship. You know, he gets so much screen time and so much attention. It's definitely, from what I can see around me.
Why did I just find a sharp, rusty fishing pole hook?
I don't know, son. So, why don't you pick it up and throw it in the garbage? So, it ends up being like Santa Claus gets more worshipped around this time of year. I think that is aimed towards children. And so it ends up being less about Jesus, who it's supposed to be about. It's about his birthday and his life and the presents as well. I mean, the presents could be construed as something positive or negative. I think like it can definitely get out of hand and become this burdensome, awkward thing. But it can also be just a way to genuinely share joy and be a cheerful giver and give to people who are less fortunate and bring joy and make people feel loved. It's for a lot of people, it's a love language. So yeah, so that's my take on this whole Santa Claus thing. I think so far I've kind of gotten away with it. I haven't had to pretend that Santa Claus is real, and my kids still get joy from the whole Santa Claus thing. But I also interject, you know, and teach them what Christmas is and isn't about, like what the underlying foundation is for the holiday. And I think as they get older and they mature more, you know, raise them up in the way they should go. And I think it's working out just fine for me to say that Santa Claus isn't real. So, and I think over time I'm going to be able to show them the parallels of how Santa Claus has kind of hijacked the holiday, and the whole story of Santa Claus has put this layer on top of the story of Jesus to kind of, you know, put a blanket over the truth of why we celebrate Christ Mass.